Hey guys, welcome back to another weekly recap vlog here. As you guys are no doubt looking forward to, on October 1st, we have the midnight deep dive happening. So I should be reacting live to that midnight deep dive. So if you'd like to join me on October 1st to take a peek at the new content information, I'd love to have you. Again, October 1st, we'll be doing a bit of a live react. So as far as what we kind of got done this week, we sold some transmog stuff, some glorious stuff. I'm trying to like do less transmogs this go around though. So over the next little while, I want to kind of reevaluate any of this like old inventory that I happen to have. See if I can like just kind of like pitch some stuff that's probably unlikely to sell in a reasonable time frame. And one thing I've always wanted to do is try to implement some like kind of like soft clearance mechanisms where if things like get posted for too long, too many times over, that like kind of like can drop the price and maybe like mark these in groups that we don't repurchase them. And the goal is to like just post less things overall, spend less time posting and more time doing like higher value activities. And I know that it's not much of an opportunity cost, but I already feel like posting, I think I post almost only like 500 or 600 items, which is not that much. But even posting 500, 600 items, like, you know, that takes a bit of time that we could be doing something else with. So I kind of want to prioritize maybe posting less items on more servers. Probably the best route in the current cross-realm environment is to post more high value or less different things, more high value things across as many servers as possible to get the highest sell outcomes. So I kind of would rather try to do that than try to post like hundreds of mogs on every server. So that's kind of like where we're at. We're going to try to reevaluate a little bit kind of what we have. In terms of what's going on right now in the game, Brewfest is happening. So I didn't see too much that was like, again, there's like the mugs and stuff, but they kind of are a slow seller still. There's the mugs are all over the place. If you want to buy some cheap mugs to try to like flip them later, I guess that was the time. I didn't see too many things that were like a good temporary buy, but again, that's the event going on right now. So if there's a couple of items that are in that, I didn't really see much, but now is the time to buy your Brewfest stuff if you want to flip it later. In terms of kind of another avenue that I've been working on, I did spend some time cutting and flipping old world herbs, especially things that have like a low sell volume that not a low sell volume, but a low total supply volume. That's kind of easily to chop the market up and reset it. A lot of these don't have enough sales volume to really generate much money, but it does kind of work. I did manage to make a good turnover percentage wise from a lot of like old world mats that are like, they're still cheap, so cheap that they're not worth farming. So there's not very much supply, but people still kind of buy them in a reasonable clip. The problem with the idea overall is like, for example, if you reset, Briarthorn or something like that, the amount of money in play is not really going to like net you very much income per day. So you'd have to like really have a system set up where you could reliably reset these markets like over across a lot of different commodities to really make money per day. So we're trying to see if we can kind of make that work. Of course, the cheapest herbs around are still Draenor herbs. I guess guys are still farming the like Garrison Gardens. Like anything that is a Draenor related herb is like just so oversupplied and get just the price just tanks. But even these herbs will kind of like accelerate in price probably into expansion. So I'm trying to buy like a good volume of them, like just on the cheap end, like way under market value. And we're also stocking some things for midnight launch. So again, we talked about some of those pigments where the graph looked really good. So right now I'm focusing on like herbs and pigments that'll likely spike at midnight launch, so I'm kind of hoarding some things. But soon I'd like to expand like out of herbs. Part of the thing is I know glyphs are going to sell, and glyphs use herbs from all across the spectrum. And also glyphs was like the last time I was on retail making money, I was doing inscription, so it's kind of like in my brain roughly how that works. So I'm kind of like focusing on trying to like hoard as much inscription related, herb related stuff as possible. We'll probably expand into like cloths and or like as cash permits. It's mostly liquidity related. And I could just go farm a bunch of like modern mats and sell them for fast cash in order to like, be more liquid. But to some extent, you know, I want to enjoy my time playing the game, and to be honest, gathering kind of sucks. I did a couple, you know, good amount of hours of it already, and it hasn't really been very fun, to be honest. So we will see how much of that I do. I do still do some of it from time to time, especially when like the weekly knowledge resets. But again, liquidity is probably my biggest issue right now. I want to deploy more capital than I have. So, but hopefully as things sell, we get some more balls rolling, we'll have more money and make things more liquid, and then we'll keep a turnover. So I started leveling my druid, as you can kind of see behind me. I've never really had a druid, but druid is like the gold farmer's best friend class. You can tank, you can heal, you got stealth, you can do massive AoE. You got bird form. I'm kind of long overdue to having a druid. So I kind of want to have a druid ready for midnight. I don't know that I want to do like the alt army thing where like you have a whole bunch of characters with crafting and then just pump your concentration every couple of days. That is like a kind of surefire way probably to get money made. But kind of would rather focus on sort of other kind of avenues, maybe a little bit more niche avenues. We kind of all know that the concentration dump thing kind of works, but there's some amount of like trying to get your stuff to sell at auction and cancel scanning. That's something common with modern. If you're going to do modern, when I say modern, I mean like current expansion, gold farming conversions is like everyone's doing them. Lots of buyers, but also lots of sellers. So you kind of want to make sure that you're cancel scanning as much as possible to get your item sold, so you can make a new one, and cancel scan to get that item sold and make a new one. And how much you can cancel scan almost is like a factor in how much money you can realistically make. And I don't want to cancel scan at all. Like I'd rather just not do any cancel scanning. So we're going to try to go with more slower sellers, wider sellers, but I don't want to go so wide as a bunch of random hundreds of transmog items. So that's kind of like roughly the direction we're going in. Again, it's a good time right now. Probably, you know, into like once we know really more about what recipes are going to be available for housing, we'll have a maybe more clear picture on which specific old world mats are going to be like hot. A lot of people are speculating right now, so the prices on old world mats are maybe a bit higher right now than they would typically be like in an expansion lull period. But the expansion is probably going to hit like March-ish, so there's probably plenty of time like over Christmas and January to spend a lot of money on stocking up again things that'll spike on midnight release. And again, right now I'm focusing mostly on like cheap old world herbs that have good graphs, that have spikes to do with glyphs and expansion, especially like roseate pigment. That graph looks really good. You know, you run roseate pigment right now, you can get it for like 3.5 gold. In the War Within, that pigment spiked to 15 and 16 gold basically the day after the expansion came out. So the only use of that thing, it's an old pigment. The only use of that thing is to make glyphs that people are going to want to buy to trick out their new characters. That's kind of like the play that I'm making right now is kind of like on inscription related old mats. We'll take a look at like ores and cloths going forward. We want things that are perennial, that are likely to spike. People aren't going to be like leveling old professions unless there's like some housing decorations involved, and we'll find out more about that. But people are going to probably do that early, so we want perennial things that are probably not related to that to kind of like stock up and then try to fire sell when the price spikes. So that's where I'm at. And again, midnight deep dive, October 1st. I will be watching. I'll be reacting live. Come join me, and we'll see how we feel about the new stuff. I'm sure it'll be exciting. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.